out and show up. What will you miss the most about this whole entire series, man?
The people. I love the people. They are my family. So it's going to be, it's been really hard to think about life and work without them.
The internet has been buzzing with talk about a supposed behind-the-scenes fallout involving Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour. And if nothing else, the situation proves one crucial lesson. It's always wise to wait for more than one source before jumping to conclusions. What really caught people's attention, though, was the moment they reunited in public. That hug everyone saw? It didn't look staged or tense, it looked real. When asked about it, Millie was quick to clarify exactly what David means to her. In her words, he's like a dad. Their bond goes far beyond the screen, and she says that connection is permanent, something she'll carry with her for life. She considers herself lucky to have him in her world. During the same conversation, things shifted to a lighter, more playful tone when she was asked about using an American accent for her lines. She laughed, teasing at first that she didn't fake it, then quickly corrected herself, joking that of course she did. If she's playing an American character like 11, she's fully stepping into that identity, right down to the way she pronounces Mike. After all, as the show famously reminds us, friends don't lie. Still, the background noise hasn't exactly quieted down. The drama surrounding Stranger Things has started to feel almost as twisted as the Upside Down itself. From the rumored complaint involving David Harbour to questions about the cast's real-life relationships, fans have been eager to dissect every detail, including Millie's recent life changes as a newly married woman and a first-time MOM. The center of it all is one big question. How meaningful has her relationship with David really been over the years? When asked that directly, her answer was simple but heartfelt. It's meant everything. Their on-screen dynamic as father and daughter naturally turned into a genuine friendship, much like the one she formed with Noah and the rest of the cast. She spent more time growing up beside these people than she has with many in her own personal life, and that shared history created an unbreakable connection. For Millie, the most powerful part of this entire journey hasn't been the fame, the red carpets, or the global recognition. It's been the human connection, the friendships, the support, the moments of laughter and vulnerability behind the scenes. Those are the parts that truly mattered. And while the internet may keep spinning stories, one thing is clear from her perspective. The bond they share is real, and that unity has always been at the heart of Stranger Things.
You and David on this carpet together. Talk to me about how special that connection is and really all these relationships you have formed in your formative year.
I obviously have a really special bond with David because we have a father-daughter relationship, right, and we do every scene together.
Yeah.
And you'll really get to see that, in season 5. It's been so special to have him along the journey for me.
Standing up there with David Harbour, and how was that reuniting since you finished shooting?
It's been amazing. Yeah, we're so lucky to have each other. The show means so much to the both of us and to everyone here. This has been the last 10 years of our lives, so we've dedicated a lot of it, and we're so excited to see that come to screen.
This season, the topic of shaved heads popped back up again. Only this time, it wasn't Millie in the chair. When asked if she'd given any advice on how to survive the painfully slow hair-growing stage afterward, the answer was a half-joke, half-groan. If there were a secret trick to speeding it up, she'd love to know, because for her, it felt like forever. It was frustrating, annoying, and something she was more than ready to put behind her. Then, in a much more playful moment, she was asked if she'd ever walked off with anything from set. Her response? A confession wrapped in humor. Apparently, there was one very important item that she may or may not have borrowed, and by borrowed, she jokingly meant stolen from another employee. Light-hearted, mischievous, classic Millie. But beyond the laughs, there was still an elephant in the room, the rumors that had been circulating about tension between her and David Harbour. After reports began claiming she had filed a harassment complaint against him, fans were left confused and divided. For the first time, Millie addressed where things truly stand between them, and her response painted a very different picture than the internet headlines suggested. Rather than distance or discomfort, She made it clear that her bond with David remains strong and meaningful, built over years of working closely together. In other words, despite everything that's been floating around online, her words and her energy said one thing loud and clear. Their relationship is far more rooted in mutual respect and history than in rumor. That's the story people haven't stopped whispering about. According to unverified reports, Netflix is said to have launched an internal review after concerns were raised. What became of that investigation remains unclear, but some insiders have claimed that David Harbour was not accused of any kind of intimate or sexual misconduct. Still, the uncertainty was enough to make fans examine every interview, every appearance, and every moment behind the scenes with a little more scrutiny. The attention was magnified because the situation was tied to Millie Bobby Brown's relationship with the actor who plays her on-screen father. Rumors suggested she may have filed a bullying-related complaint sometime before production on the final season began in 2024. Naturally, that made headlines almost overnight, but then came the red carpet. Instead of tension, people saw laughter. Instead of distance, there was warmth. Whatever the internet expected to see between them simply wasn't there. Visibly comfortable in each other's presence, the two appeared completely at ease, which raised an even bigger question. Just how meaningful has their bond really been over the years? Millie didn't sugarcoat it. She described the cast as family, not in a cliché way, but in a lived-in, honest one. She admitted that, in many ways, she grew up with them more than with her own siblings. Her connection with people like Noah and David was constant, grounding, and real. When she steps into a scene with them, it feels like stepping into familiar territory, a space that challenges her, supports her, and pushes her to show up stronger. When The Hollywood Reporter spoke to her at the Los Angeles premiere for the final season on November 6th, they addressed the situation directly, asking how she and Harbour managed to appear united despite the wave of online speculation. Her answer caught many off guard. She explained that this sense of unity is nothing new. It's been there from the very beginning. For a decade, the cast has intentionally stood together, choosing loyalty, mutual respect, and love for the project over external noise. In her eyes, the relationships mattered more than the rumors ever could. She even shared that filming with Harbour again this season felt surprisingly emotional and familiar. It reminded her of earlier seasons, especially seasons 2 and 3, when Eleven and Hopper's relationship was full of friction, growth, and unspoken love. That same tension has returned in the final season, as Eleven steps into her power and independence, while Hopper struggles to balance protection and acceptance. It's a dynamic fans have always connected with, and it's one she seems genuinely proud of course. The more serious reports haven't vanished. On November 1st, Daily Mail released an article claiming that a source alleged Millie had filed a formal complaint for bullying and harassment before Season 5 went into production. The report claimed the investigation lasted for months, involved extensive documentation, and that she was accompanied on set by a representative during filming. Neither Netflix, nor Millie, nor Harbour provided a public statement in response when People magazine asked for comment, and that silence only added fuel to online conversations. According to an unnamed insider, Netflix's lack of response may simply be strategic. With Stranger Things being one of its most valuable and anticipated projects, the company has a powerful incentive to keep the spotlight focused solely on the series, not on cast controversies or private matters. That same source pointed out something important. Netflix almost never speaks publicly about internal investigations, regardless of the situation. So while fans may see the silence as suspicious, within the industry, it's often considered standard practice. In the end, it leaves us in a space where rumor and reality exist side by side. Online speculation continues, but on the ground, the cast presents something entirely different. Familiarity, respect, and connection shaped over years. And in an era of instant headlines and viral assumptions, maybe that's the real takeaway here. Sometimes the truth isn't found in the loudest story, but in the quiet consistency of real human bonds. Just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get more complicated, another layer was added to the story, and it felt straight out of a scripted drama. According to yet another unnamed source quoted by Daily Mail, David Harbour reportedly had the support of his then-wife, singer Lily Allen, throughout the difficult period. The source claimed she stood by him while he dealt with the emotional toll of the situation, describing it as an extremely heavy and stressful time for him. If true, it would mean he was navigating intense professional scrutiny at the same time his personal life was starting to unravel. Soon after, Variety reported that there had, in fact, been an investigation related to Millie Bobby Brown's complaint, and that it had already been resolved. The following day, Deadline added that, according to its sources, Millie did make a complaint about Harbor's behavior. However, they suggested it may not have been as recent as some reports implied, and that the matter had already been addressed, with no further issues since. While that doesn't necessarily erase whatever may have happened, it does help explain why the recent red carpet footage shows no visible tension between them. Adding even more to the speculation, David and Lily's separation earlier this year also fed the rumor mill. The two reportedly split in February after 4 years of marriage. Later, Lily released music that some fans interpreted as subtle references to betrayal, which only intensified online discussions. Social media users then connected those hints to whispers that David may have had an affair with a costume designer named Natalie Tippett, another claim that remains unverified. And as the internet tends to do, it ran with all of it, yet, in complete contrast to the chaos online, Millie and David appeared together at the Stranger Things Season 5 premiere, smiling, laughing, and posing for cameras as if nothing controversial had ever occurred. Anyone watching without context would have assumed everything was perfectly normal. Millie even told Entertainment Tonight that their bond has always been special. Their father-daughter dynamic on the show, she explained, naturally spilled over into real life. They didn't just act like family, they grew into one together over the years. Every season, every scene, strengthened that connection, and she spoke about it with genuine warmth. That sincerity is exactly what fans have always adored about their relationship. When reunited, Millie called it a privilege, reflecting on 10 transformative years. She treasures every on-set moment, even as her life has changed. David praised her growth, talent, and resilience, hinting at future collaborations. Amid swirling rumors, their decade-long bond remains authentic, heartfelt, and rooted in mutual respect and admiration. In a 2021 podcast interview, he spoke about feeling a natural instinct to look out for her, especially knowing how young she was when she entered the spotlight. Fans once viewed those comments as touching, since she was only 12 when filming began. Later, Millie herself described their bond as a father-daughter type of relationship, saying she felt grateful to have him alongside her throughout her journey on the series. Those past statements, now revisited through a more complicated lens, are one of the reasons this entire situation feels so confusing to fans who have watched their relationship evolve for nearly a decade. Fast forward to the present, and the atmosphere surrounding Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour seems far more complicated than it once was. After years of affectionate interviews and a clearly warm working relationship, unverified reports about a possible internal complaint shifted the public's perception almost overnight. The contrast between David once speaking about Millie with genuine, fatherly concern and the recent wave of speculation has left fans struggling to make sense of the situation. It feels like two very different narratives overlapping: the familiar, wholesome bond people watched grow on screen, and a more tense, unclear reality now forming behind the scenes. Even with all the chatter, Millie has remained remarkably composed and diplomatic in interviews. When speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, she stressed that the cast has always been united by their love for the show and by the friendships they built over a decade of working together. Rather than feed into the controversy, she emphasized loyalty, consistency, and professionalism, repeatedly highlighting that their bond as a cast has remained strong for 10 years. When asked why she chose to stand beside David in public after the rumor surfaced, her answer stayed the same: unity, respect, and the importance of human connection. On the red carpet, she echoed that sentiment again. She described her relationship with David as incredibly meaningful, pointing out how closely their on-screen father-daughter dynamic paralleled their real-life friendship. She compared the cast to siblings, explaining that she had spent more time with them than with her own family at points in her life. In later interviews, she opened up even more about how her bond with David evolved over the seasons, recalling the playful, almost sibling-like energy they shared early on, from her teasing him on set to his joking eye rolls and laughter in response. That history is exactly why the situation feels so jarring to fans. Millie has said before that the emotional connection between Eleven and Hopper developed so naturally because it mirrored what they shared in real life. David, too, previously spoke about feeling protective of her, especially knowing how young she was when fame found her. He talked openly about worrying for her and being proud of the entire young cast as they grew up in front of the world. That once heartwarming narrative has now become clouded by uncertainty, which is why this story continues to spark debate, confusion, and intense emotional reaction online. In a recent interview with Esquire UK, David Harbour opened up about the younger generation of actors he's worked with on Stranger Things. He described them as genuinely good kids and joked that maybe his own sobriety has given him a new perspective, noting that today's young stars don't seem as wild as the actors of his era. Harbour emphasized that what keeps him grounded in the industry is focusing on the craft itself. While so much in Hollywood, box office numbers, fan reactions, or character popularity is out of one's control, the one thing an actor can truly command is their own passion for storytelling and their voice as an artist. After more than 3 years since the release of Season 4, Stranger Things has returned for its massive final season. Picking up 18 months after previous events, Hawkins has been overtaken by the military and quarantined, blurring the line between the real world and the Upside Down. The group faces their most urgent mission yet, hunting down Vecna while protecting humanity from total collapse. The full main cast returns, including Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Gaten Matarazzo, Kayla MacLachlan, Noah Schnapp, Winona Ryder, David Harbour, Sadie Sink, Joe Keery, and others. New faces also join the story, such as Nell Fisher, Linda Hamilton, Alex Bro, and Jake Connolly, adding fresh energy to the finale. Even though this is officially the last season, the Stranger Things universe isn't slowing down. An animated spin-off, Stranger Things, Tales from 85, is set to release next year, exploring events between seasons 2 and 3. Meanwhile, the Broadway show Stranger Things, The First Shadow has already been a hit, diving into Vecna's origins in 1959 and featuring younger versions of the adult characters. While Hawkins may be closing a chapter, the franchise clearly has more stories to tell, but on the personal front, Millie Bobby Brown's life has been equally eventful. She tied the knot with Jake Bon Jovi, son of rock legend John Bon Jovi, in May 2024, after dating since the summer of 2021 and announcing their engagement in April 2023. John Bon Jovi himself shared how thrilled the family was for the couple, describing their bond as loving and supportive. The wedding was intimate, filled with family, and Millie reportedly looked radiant. The surprises didn't stop there. Over the summer of 2025, Millie and Jake announced the adoption of their first child, a daughter, sharing their excitement on social media while emphasizing a desire for privacy. Earlier that year, Millie had mentioned in a March podcast that starting a family had been a lifelong dream of hers. From the shifting dynamics behind the scenes of Stranger Things to Millie's evolving personal life, there's been no shortage of headlines. This story continues to unfold, and fans are eagerly watching as more details emerge.